Welcome back, Iron Investors, to another epic episode, ICN Talks, the podcast where we aim to interview C-level executives, founders, these guys that they really want to build something special in the industry. They have a real purpose behind the fulfillment behind their projects. So for this reason, today I have a very special guest, Danosch, the founder and the master brain behind the largest NFT and Web3 community in the Middle East. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and welcome to ICN Talks.
Thank you so much, Danny. It's a pleasure to be here.
I appreciate that. How it's been? I know you have a big event upcoming, and I'm assuming that you are under your toes right now. How it's been?
Yeah, it's been crazy. You know, these big events, they don't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time. I think we started, planning in September last year, and it's happening now in April. So from the moment we started, there's been so much work.
Absolutely. I mean, like I was there last year, and everything it was just perfect in all the details. So immediately you can see that someone had to do a lot of work for that. How is this year going? Like, what's the major, if you can share something?
Yeah. So last year was definitely a smaller event for us. It was a proof of concept. We did it in less than 3 months, everything. This year is obviously, we're building on the success that we had. We're building on the fact that we were able to deliver a fest successfully. And now when we're talking to brands, it's usually a lot bigger brands. The audience that we're targeting is a much bigger audience. The speakers that we have secured are on the whole, I would not to discredit the previous speakers, but we have been able to attract very, very high level speakers to this event. So all in all, it's bigger in every single way.
Awesome. Now let's go back to the roots, right? How everything started. This beautiful journey. When you look back right now and see, like, oh my God, I did something, isn't it? It's like a beautiful journey behind.
Yes. So the reason why I took a deep breath is because, when I look back at how this all started, it's almost surreal. We went through a big hype in the beginning, went the bull run, and then the bear market hit us, and then we were struggling throughout and building the community and keeping the community alive. And to be honest, I think one of the biggest benefits we had was that we were able to attract really good people from the beginning, and they stuck with us throughout this bear and bust, and they were active even when the markets were really tough. Now, back to your question, how it all started.
Like, tell me the genesis, like the day one.
Okay.
Like how ArtsDAO came in your mind, in which shape?
So I have to take another step back.
Okay.
And this is January 2021. I'm at the Arts Club here in Dubai at a tequila tasting. And I met with Anas, who became my co-founder, over this tequila tasting, and we started having really interesting discussions. And then I met him a few weeks later by accident, and I had no idea that he was actually in crypto. And it turned out that he was a crypto lawyer, and he was used to be working for checkout.com, obviously before I pulled him out of the corporate rat race. And when I found out, we were having these really long discussions about crypto, and back then all of our friends, they were coming to us for advice on where do I put my money, where do I invest. And at the same time, there was a podcast competition going on with Foundry in downtown. And I saw this by accident, and I told them, look, Anas, there's this podcast competition going on. I have an idea. Why don't we apply and do podcasts about crypto and Web3, where we help to educate people on a very granular, basic level? And he liked the idea, so we applied to that competition, and we got 5, free podcast recording sessions with them. And that's how it started. We call that podcast Crypto Sheikh's Podcast. And then eventually, as we were exploring the space in 2021, NFTs were quite, it was new, but it was still not new because NFTs came much before that. Yeah. But it was new in the sense that it now started to gain a little bit more attention, especially with the Bored Ape Yacht Club and all these things. And as we were then
2021, they already, like, the main horse exploded very nice way.
Exactly, yeah. So the Bored Ape Yacht Club, I think they minted in February 2021, and then the hype really started. And then in May sometime, I think in May, I told Anas, I would love for us to explore if we can find a problem here in this space that we can solve for. And he was really interested in NFTs and found that part of the whole blockchain space quite interesting, because for the first time you could now actually take culture and put it on the blockchain. Previously it was only trading, it was only financial figures and numbers. It had nothing to do with culture, art. And now for the first time artists could earn royalties. You could track the provenance on the blockchain. You could there were so many benefits of actually creating art on the blockchain. And this was something we found fascinating. And we were seeing a lot of marketplaces popping up. And we were like, should we launch a marketplace? And in the end, as we were exploring the space, it all started with us just wanting to meet with other like-minded people. So the whole ArtsDAO community started by an accident. And the accident was basically, we wanted to meet with a few people. Someone reached out to us. So Christelle Bashar, who is an artist here in the Middle East, a very talented artist, she actually became the creator of our NFT collection for the community. But just to take a step back, she reached out to us. She said, guys, there is this guy called NFT Penguin. He reached out to me on Instagram. Do you guys have any idea who he is? We're like, no, why? No, she was like, well, he wanted to do this meetup at my studio, and I'm not sure if I should do it or not. We're like, of course, let's do it, We'll invite everyone we know, you invite everyone you know, and he can invite everyone he knows. And on that first meetup in September 2021, we were 10 people. And we thought we had met every single person in Dubai, in NFTs, because it was still so fresh. 2 weeks later, everyone invited their friends, and we were 30 people. And then 2 months later, one person sponsored an event, and we had a first event at the Arts Club where there was VCs, there were investors, there were creators, there were artists and entrepreneurs. And at that point, we were like, wow, this is so cool. And that was the first kind of breakthrough for us. That was the first one of the highlights, because that event set the stage for everything that came after that. Because that event attracted all the right people. We had really high quality people coming into that community. And then as they were bringing on their friends, the community.
Literally, that was the moment when you felt that, okay, I did the right decision by doing this, because it made sense, right? And this is actually my question. It was a moment or a situation when you saw it, you felt like, yeah, it's real. Is something that is worth to do.
To be honest, it was almost we were just shot into this whirlwind of things happening, and we didn't even have time to stop and reflect, because everything was moving so fast. And then we were thinking about, okay, what do we actually do with this community? Do we do an NFT collection? Do we do an event? Because we're already seeing all these big events happening in the US with NFT NYC and South by Southwest. Do we do NFT DXP maybe? So all these ideas start to come to our minds. And then as this was developing, in February, when Gary Vee came to Dubai, the guys at Ripple, they were going to do an event with him. So they reached out to us. They're like, he wants to meet with the NFT community here. Do you guys want to organize something with him? So we did that. And then we did events with Artifact, with Doodles, some of the biggest projects in the space, because we started getting a lot of momentum. And at that time, we also started developing our own NFT collection, which we then launched in June 2022. Although it was right in a bear market when everyone, even our investor, he was like, guys, you're crazy.
Think twice.
Don't do it now. Yeah. Now is not the right time. Postpone it a few months. But because we had put in so much time and effort, and this is a funny thing that always repeats itself for us, every time we want to do something, we always have doubts. These doubts always start kicking in very closely to, us actually doing it. We had the same doubts with our NFT collection. We had the same doubts with the first ArtsDAO Fest, the festival that we did. We had the same doubts with when we were going to do the Colombia. We did a Colombia trip for the community. And we had the same doubts with this festival. Every time we have doubts, it's always this point where you reach like a bottom in terms of confidence. And you're like, should I really do it? Should I not? And then we always push through, and somehow magically things happen successfully.
Yeah. Of course, having doubts is not something that you think you don't, right? But it's a matter what you do with these doubts. Because if you let them to affect your entire vision or the execution, then it's a problem. But just have fears, have it's working, or have like unlikely scenarios, right? This just very normal. Like you don't have to live in the clouds, because at the end it's kind of a business execution, right? So you need to be capable to see all these challenges ahead. So I think that you did right, like just because action beats everything, right? At the end.
Yeah, there's this famous saying that says, success lies just one step behind, or like just one action after giving up, or something like that. And this has been really true for us every time.
One decision away, or one step away
from giving up. That's when you reach success, and that is really has been true for us at least.
How is Gary Vee as a person?
He's just like he's on the videos, eccentric, really like very smart, very intellectual. I find him very interesting as a person.
I mean, he was the one who was just smashing the NFT, like business-wise, financially. He did very nice with his collections, way before everyone else, like super, super early.
He has a fantastic way of seeing what's waiting around the corner, what's the next big thing. He has a fantastic ability to see that and capitalize on that. I think he's crushing it when it comes to content creation. There's so much content creators are learning from him. He's like one of the godfathers in the space. So actually when we met him, for me it was a little bit like a fanboy moment, because I don't get impressed by people. I don't maybe it's arrogant, but I don't look up to that many people, because I see a lot of people as my equals. Now, when it comes to Gary Vee, that's someone I really look up to. There's a few people that I really look up to. He's one of those guys, because I feel that he walks the talk, and he's been able to do something really well, and he's a really good, thinking on the feet.
Yeah, and I think he's one of the biggest strengths, because he has so many, obviously. He knows very well his audience. He literally their brain, like the communication level with his audience is just exactly at the point that they want to hear, the way how they want to hear. Like as you mentioned, every time when he puts content out there, he's like, oh my God, yes, exactly. This is exactly what I'm feeling. How like he's super, super sharp with his everything what he does.
Yeah, I mean when
this is so powerful. I mean, when you're so efficient with your communication and your products, like the success is
100%. When he reached out to us, we were like, "Oh my God, Gary Vee! He wants to do an event with us. It's insane." So for us, it was like everything was falling into place, and it was just a really cool journey. Like being an entrepreneur in general is just like a emotional roller coaster. You have these highs, the super highs, and then you have the super lows, and it just continues like that all the time.
You know what's the funny thing is, as much as we complain about this hard life, I need to be all the time under pressure with deadlines and tasks, but at one point this is the addiction, this is the enthusiasm and the fuel that gives you the entire fulfillment at the end.
I mean, you have to be a little bit like masochistic to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of it's a good analogy. Yeah, because this is the truth. Like you need to be all the time at the edge of feeling that pain of oh no, it's hard, it's super tough.
Because if your business is not growing uncomfortably fast enough, then there's always a risk of someone bypassing you, right? Because everyone it's in a way it's a race. Everyone is competing against each other, and you need to make sure that your product is always the best. You need to make sure that your customers are always the happiest. And the moment you relax, there's always the chance that someone will take your spot, and that's where you can never relax, unfortunately.
Yeah. From the business perspective, I want to ask you something, because really your product as ArtsDAO, it is an example in this way. When your business grows at this level of acceleration so fast, like literally exploded right at one point, how do you manage to squeeze the opportunity at the scale of the business at that moment? Because you create a system, hopefully you say like, okay, I want to be successful. If I'll bring 1,000 people, will be great. But then 10,000 people sign up, and you say, I can't lose 9,000 people, right? So how do you manage to quickly adapt to the scale of the business when it's like this fire on it literally exploded?
That's a good question. Look, the thing is with growing and scaling community is always the balance of how fast you want to grow and how much do you want to grow with quality. Because for us, up until now, it was always about growing organically and making sure that the right people come into the community. Because when you're growing a community, the value of your community is only the accumulated value of the people in that community. So if it's high quality people coming in, the community will exponentially grow in terms of high quality interactions, high quality discussions, high quality opportunities. And as the next stage for ArtsDAO in its development, that is something that we will double down on. I cannot share too much, but that's something that we will be launching later this year.
I see. So it's a matter of quality over quantity.
It depends.
Even though we talk about communities, right? Community in a very back end as a product, it's a numbers game, right? Like the larger the community, the better for you as a company, right?
So there's two different types of communities. There's the communities that there are tech companies or social-fi companies, and they have hundreds of thousands of people on their Discord servers and on Telegram chats. It comes down to what your objectives are. If your objective is a mass market product, then yes, community is a numbers game. But if your product is an exclusive product where, for example, the value of ArtsDAO is the network of people. So what we want to provide is the best network that you can possibly find. Now, in order to do that, the more people you bring in, the more is the chance, if you don't do that properly, that you dilute the value of your community. So in order to keep a high quality, it's very important that the quality...
Close most doors.
Yeah.
So you just keep only few open for exactly that quality.
Exactly.
Which one is let's call it like that, the biggest artist inside of the community? Which one is the very well known? Top 3 maybe, I don't know, something like that.
So we have a lot of great artists in our community. A few of them that are quite well known is obviously Sasha Jaffrey. He's a very famous artist, perhaps more famous for his traditional work. He recently sent one of his art pieces to Moon. He's been doing a lot of cool stuff. He sold one of his pieces for more than $60 million. Then we have, Crystal Bashara, one of the first female Middle Eastern artists. We have Amrita, also the first female Middle Eastern artist in the Middle East. We have Archa Nair. The list of talented artists that we have in the community is very big, and we're very happy about being able to attract artists as well, because ArtsDAO is not just even though the name is called ArtsDAO, it's not an artist community. we have artists, and it's great because I love that we have culture as part of the community, but it's more of an investment community where people talk about investments. We have a lot of traders, VCs, entrepreneurs, founders, art collectors. So yeah.
Most of the times it's happening like this. You start with a core product, and then obviously the opportunities are everywhere. So in close to that core product, and then you expand and go to multiple channels, and don't limit yourself only to NFTs or only to one, because NFTs are huge. Like when you say NFT is like when you say marketing, right? It's super broad. NFT can be in multiple things. By the way, which one is like by category? When you see this industry NFTs, which one do you see the most the highest utility for NFTs, for example? Let me give you more context. Like you see them in gaming, or you see them as arts, or I don't know, in health, something like.
So I see NFTs in art, if we break it down. So in art, I see a big utility and value in terms of fractionalizing art and offering, like, for example, Art5, what they're doing. They break down expensive pieces into fractional items where instead of you buying the whole Picasso yourself, you can become one of 1,000 people to own a Picasso. That is a clear use case of NFTs. Another use case is for digital documents. For example, your passport in the future will most likely be an NFT. It will, the fact that we are actually traveling with a book in our pockets when we want to travel, and we live in the 21st century, it's quite crazy, right? When you think about it. And I have to take out this clunky thing, and it's not accepted in some countries, and in some countries it is just like so outdated. I think NFTs will have a use case there. When it comes to art in a traditional sense, obviously now artists can earn royalties, and they can earn, you can track who has owned that. NFTs will also play a role in fashion. So again, this is tokenization of real world assets. So if Louis Vuitton is selling a bag, you as the owner will probably in the future own the NFT associated to that bag. And whenever you sell that bag, the NFT will be transferred to the next owner, and there will probably be a marketplace where people can easily sell these bags to each other. You will see exactly who owned the bag before you. Was it, the wife of Sheikh Mohammed? And then it might be that the price of that bag will, just skyrocket just because you actually know now who owned it before you. Yeah. And with cars, in the future, you will have car services or the service books as NFTs, so people can actually double check that, okay, well, Danny, he sold this car to me, but he did actually do the service, or it's not a fake service book. There's endless amounts of use cases.
Yeah, obviously. The thing is, I just wanted to see how you see and where you put them, like in terms of ranking. Like,
it's so difficult to say. Gaming is obviously a big one, as you mentioned. So in-game assets, trading them between people and transferring them from one game to another.
The nice part is where you put this utility in fashion, for example, right? You have the bag in the real world as a number one buyer, but then you can just sell it in the metaverse, for example, and someone can wear it at this event, right? In this digital events, like this one, it's a lot of utility there, because people, of course, you can't afford some bags are $100,000. You don't want to pay that in real world, but you can have it in a digital event, right? And it will give you a lot of status.
100%. So I think the bridge between physical and digital is going to, narrow down. And I think actually fashion is one of those specific verticals that is currently still quite unexplored. And with the right company and with the right backing, this could become the next, multi-billion-dollar company.
Absolutely. How do you see this loop of generating NFTs and having their peak? Like, for example, let's take a concrete one, Bored Apes, right? Do you see them coming back at the level they were 2021?
It's very hard to say. It's possible, but it's very hard to say, because when the Bored Ape Yacht Club became really famous, all the attention went towards them. Everyone wanted to be part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now there's more competition, right? So for them to achieve the same numbers, there needs to be more liquidity coming in. So the probability is that it's limited in number of tokens, right? So right now the crypto industry is $2 trillion. It's still quite small if you compare it to the rest of the financial systems. It's still very, very small. As crypto grows, more liquidity will come in, and these funds always circle around. So they move from crypto, and then they move into NFTs, and then they move into meme coins, and it's always what's the next alpha, what's the next meta. So I think there is a chance that they can go back. Right now, there's a lot of competing projects, and I think that for any NFT project out there, it's important that you not try to create like a 10,000 NFT collection. Make sure that it's limited, because limited supply is always easier to appreciate in value as long as you keep the demand higher than the supply.
In the very back end is exactly like this. The liquidity moves, across multiple narratives at once, most probably 2 or 3, right? In a certain moment. So the question is kind of how hard and what is the level of challenge for those projects that they already been very successful, right? Because if we remember Bored Apes, Jay-Z had the profile with Neymar, you name it, right? It's already enough. Like if Jay-Z has a picture with you, it's you're right. So how hard is for this kind of projects to keep up with the market in the new conditions when they already seen a massive success? It's a matter of, okay, this project is bye-bye, will not be included again in the hype, in the momentum, because it is been squeezed and that's it. Or because it's art, they can literally put themselves back on trail.
I think one of the challenges that all NFT projects will face at some point is that as long as your membership is attached to the NFT entirely, the success of that project will very likely be dependent on the success of the price of that NFT. Because when the price is high, everyone is hyped, everyone is happy, everyone is like, oh, I'm part of this super expensive club. And then when the winds turn, it can change the narrative, right? It might be cooler to be part of a different community. So as long as the value comes from the price, it's always difficult to make it sustainable long term. So I think that NFT projects really need to think about, how do I create value that is not necessarily just linked to the reputation or to the brand or to the price of my collection.
Yes, because people, they need to understand that it's very easy to create 10,000 NFT collection, right? Like, and we have examples from the other side as well, right? Like we saw, for example, Logan Paul. We saw even brands like Porsche, right? Porsche, they launched NFT. It was nothing. Like, and imagine, like, we cannot say they don't have money or they don't have marketing team, but you see how it's working. Like at one point you'll see, okay, I'm part of the Porsche club, car passion attached, and still like the market didn't find that as a certified value somehow, right? They didn't jump on it.
The reason for that is, if you break it down, it's very simple, marketing, right? And they didn't abide by the natural laws of marketing, which is know your audience, know which language your audience speaks, speak the same language in the same channels. And for example, with Porsche, the people that buy NFTs are not the usual Porsche buyers. They don't care about NFTs. They don't even know what NFTs are, right? So it's the wrong audience for the possibly right product. NFT buyers is a very niche group within an existing niche industry, which is crypto. So if you want to target the people that actually spend money on NFTs, those are the people that you need to target. And if you want to speak with them and communicate with them, you need to understand where they're hanging out, who they're talking with, what's their language. And this is all happening on Twitter Spaces, in Discords, etc.
Because at one point is what they did, they just took a hot product, they put it in front end of their community, but actually behind that product, behind that NFT, there's nothing out there. Like if you zoom in and you put the NFT on the side, you see like desert, nothing, right? And I think this is why ArtsDAO is at this level, because you have these products in front of your community, right? Okay, I can see NFTs, I can buy to enter, to access the community. But if I put the NFT on the side, I will see a super nice vibe inside. I will see, creators, artists, different energy. I will see all this kind of environment, right? Like I see people alive. I see really life out there, right, behind these NFTs. So that will make the NFT more valuable. Like it's kind of reverse engineer, right?
Yeah, because look, we never planned this. Everything happened by accident. We were just throwing really cool events for people in Dubai that were interested in NFTs and internet culture. And these events just started to grow, and the community started to grow, and people enjoyed being part of those events. They enjoyed the network, they enjoyed the interactions they had, the business opportunities that it gave them, the investment opportunities that they got from it. So as that, that value started just populating, we already had our product. We didn't start as an NFT collection. We started with our existing product, which was the community. The NFT collection just came on top of it to support that.
Yeah, as a natural step. I want to ask you a thing. Being in a digital business, right, with NFTs and all these things on the blockchain, obviously for you at one point will make sense to have artificial intelligence involved. How do you plan to do that?
So I have been thinking about this, and a few of the ways that I think that artificial intelligence will really support us is as we plan to scale up the community and we want to stay in touch with all the members and really understand the members' needs on an individual level. I think, for example, yes, if you are 800 members, yes, you can interview all of the members yourself right now. In the future, if you're 3,000 members, it's not going to be as easy for you as an individual to interview every single member, understand their pain points, understand their needs, and then collect all that information and distill that into tangible and actionable ideas. I think AI can really support with that. I think AI will also really support us on the marketing side. There's so much content you can now create using AI. So as ArtsDAO is looking to scale, content will be a really important aspect for us because we live in the attention economy. How do you grab people's attention? How do you make sure that people know about you, that you're not just forgotten about, and you always stay on top of people's minds? So I think AI is going to help us massively. And I was just recently speaking to someone, and I mentioned that after this ArtsDAO Fest, I'm going to probably spend like a month just geeking into AI tools and learn like how I can benefit from this, because AI is growing so quickly and we're not even like keeping up with it. We don't even know what's happening because it's growing so fast. If you saw recently this figure one humanoid robot that is speaking and literally acting like a robot, and this was just like science fiction a few years back. And in a year's time from now, if we think about it, AI grows much faster than technology has grown in the past. Why? Because it's artificial intelligence, it's machine learning that is tapping into like multiple brains at the same time and growing at an exponential rate every single day. It's learning from its own kind of development, and that is something we never had before.
The thing is being kind of fake somehow, right? Being artificial, the word itself is kind of unnatural, let's call it. Right? The level of acceleration is way higher than having a natural process behind, right? So obviously, and what's more scary is the fact that they put on the market right now, I'm 100% sure about this, only 5 or 10% what they actually have right now in terms of AI. So imagine if we see these things like that will destroy our brain, like, oh my God, imagine what they really have achieved and what's coming.
So sometimes I'm thinking, this is maybe dystopian. I'm like thinking, is there a point we're building this community? Is there a point we're doing all these things? Because AI will eventually come and crash everything, right? But the more I think about it, the more communities make sense to me, because when there's nothing else in this world, and let's say AI would take over everything, the only thing we as humans have is each other and the connections and the communities we belong to and the relationships we have with other people. Because AI will live its own life, and we as humans will just be standing by and watching. And this is my view, right? I might be completely wrong. We will just be bystanders and see how the world is developing. And yes, we're still far away from that. But when we get to that, the only thing I think that remains is family, is community, and these things.
I do agree with you, but I'm going a little bit extreme with this. I'm just building on top of your thoughts. How would you differentiate an AI from the human? Because they will look like 101. Like at one point in, let's call it the year 2153, whatever, or maybe just after 40 years from now, I literally can be AI right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what it's not us differentiating. I think it's the AI that's going to be like, I don't want to talk to you. You're a stupid human. I'm a million times smarter than you.
Okay, if he plays like that, okay, I got you. You are AI, but maybe you will come in a shape of the most, beautiful woman who you ever wanted, or I don't know. It's if you think about this kind of things, it's really scary. Like,
it's scary. Yeah, it's scary. It's also exciting, right? We as humans are right now at a point in time where the development is happening faster than ever. We will be, during our lifetime, will experience crazy shift. And I have no idea what's going to happen next. But there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to accept it and roll with it and do the best out of it and embrace it and use this technology to your advantage.
It's not up to you if it's coming or not. It's up to you how you adapt or not. Like if you completely want to remove these things from your life, okay, go live under the rocks somewhere. But that's pretty much everything what you can do. You can't avoid it. Where do you go with ArtsDAO in terms of further development? Do you see it like a similar way what Bored Ape did? Like having your own land, metaverses, bring people in there for events? Or you want to keep it more in the real life? Like, no, let's see each other. Let's shake hands. How do you see that?
So one of my biggest challenges, and people might shoot me for saying this, but one of my biggest challenges with all these metaverse projects, all of these things, it's great because someone needs to be part of those early pioneers that build this out. But right now, the metaverse does not replace this real life interaction, this me being able to sit in front of you and feel how you feel and look you into the eyes. Right now, the technology isn't there.
Yes.
So as long as we cannot replace reality, reality will always win. That is why ArtsDAO and our community will still be mainly physical, IRL. Eventually, we're happy to transition if we believe that the alternative will add value to reality.
I got it. So for the moment, let's keep it real.
Let's keep it real, exactly.
So we keep it real. Tell me a little bit more about the event is coming in April. What people should expect to find there this year?
We're doing ArtsDAO Fest, which is our hallmark brand and product, which is our annual festival. And the reason why we started ArtsDAO Fest was we saw all these amazing festivals happening all around the world, in New York, in LA, in Miami, South by Southwest, Art Basel, NFT NYC. And what we saw was that in the US, they were really good at bringing internet culture to life in real life, bring communities together, bring people together, celebrate art, celebrate technology. And all of the events that we were visiting in Dubai was always the same thing, the same talks, the same panels, the same speakers, the same audience, the same venues.
Same brain.
Everything like recycled year after year. And we're thinking, okay, how can we innovate in this space? How can we create something unique with our own mark? And that's how the idea of ArtsDAO was born. Now, with ArtsDAO Fest, the goal is to bring all different types of Web3 communities under one roof, brands, such as blockchains, exchanges, gaming companies. We want to have art galleries at the event. We're going to do really cool art installations. There's going to be different types of fashion experiences where you can try digital fashion. There's going to be a lot of great talks, panels. A big focus for us is always entertainment. So we're going to have DJs, performers on stage. And we want to create a unique event. We're going to have debates. So we're going to have a debate room where we want to build it up as the SCC with a judge in the middle with a gavel. And next to him, there's going to be two teams debating specific topics. This is not something you see usually traditionally in events here in Dubai. So everything we do, we try to think outside of the box. What is it that we can create that is engaging and fun?
Where it will be taking place?
It's taking place in a venue called The Agenda in Media City on the 21st of April.
Awesome.
And we're selling tickets on Platinum List, so anyone that wants to join, feel free to check it out, or just go to artsdaofest.com. We have all the information there.
And what will be after? Like after this event, where we will see ArtsDAO?
Yeah.
In next, let's say in the next 1 or 2 years, like what's in, and this one is I'm saying it as a shorter, right? Because obviously you have a visionary mind building this for life even. Right?
So I would say in the next 2 years, ArtsDAO, in my opinion, will be not just one of the largest Web3 brands in the Middle East, but one of the largest Web3 brands globally, with a community of very, very strong people, very high quality people with a fantastic network. You as a member will get access to the best network. We'll have a lot of networking opportunities. We'll have co-working spaces. We will have a lot of cool events. We will have a lot of cool clothing that you can, wear and rep the brand.
Are you launching your own merch?
We will be doing that, yes. And we have some really cool ideas for how to do that also very, very uniquely. So everything we will be doing will go towards building that brand, building that IP, and also just making ArtsDAO the home of Web3 for the Middle East, and eventually we'll expand it to other places.
For you, as an individual level, Danosch, what's the biggest fulfillment here?
And that's a good question, because there was a point where I was very burnt out. I was very stressed. And I was thinking to myself, why am I doing all of this? Why am I, showing up to all these community meetups and events? And I'm tired of meeting all these people. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And when you are at a point in life where you're just stressed and there's so much pressure on your shoulders, you don't enjoy these interactions. But when you're in a good mental headspace, when you go to this event, you love it. You love to see the faces of all these people. You love to interact with them. You love to crack jokes. You love to have fun. But what's fulfilling to me is when I see these people enjoy themselves. When I see the smiles on people's faces, even at a coffee meetup or even at different things, or when I see people do business together, or when I see that people interact in a positive way, that gives me fulfillment. And that's kind of the mission and purpose for me personally, to help expand this so that whoever is part of the community can really get a lot of value out of it.
Do you really think these hard tasks to manage and all these deadlines and everything, do you think can be fueled by this kind of feelings? Like when you go to the event and see people laughing, have a great vibe. You see the event is on fire. Everyone is chilling, discussing, creating opportunities. Literally, that moment is the moment when you close everything and say, yeah, it's worth it.
100%. I mean, after the last festival that we did, we were literally the week before the event, we were sleeping 1 or 2 hours per night, and then the day of the event, we were just so exhausted, but we were just seeing how everything was coming together. And we were almost like crying out of happiness. And that day, we were just like the day after, when everything had settled, we were like, oh my God, it's over.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it was just for one day. Yeah. But the feeling that the rush you have, the endorphins, the dopamine, is just like...
the intensity is high.
Intensity is in extreme. It's like nothing I have ever done in my whole life. But the rewarding feeling afterwards is also like nothing you have experienced in your whole life. So you cannot feel the super highs unless you feel like the massive pressure.
Secretly, you are waiting for the next one.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, now it's only 1 month away, so the tension is building up, and yeah, I'm nervous, but at the same time, I'm very excited.
Beautiful. This is actually the right feeling. Exactly what you're supposed to feel when you create something at this scale.
Yeah.
Danosch, of course, we are limited by time. I would have stayed here with you way more than this. Thank you very much for coming to ICN Talks. It was a pleasure to discover your journey, and I want to see you building beautiful things further and taking this beautiful community ArtsDAO to the next level.
Thank you so much, Danny. It was my pleasure, and it was a fantastic interview. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Please smash the like button. Drop us a comment how you like it. If you consider, follow us on all major platforms as Iron Capital News. And see you again on the next one. Thank you very much.